Hi, Melissa. I just got done reading your post for week 3, and I had a lot of aha moments. You did such a great job, and you really gave me and whoever else reads your post a lot to think about. When I was growing up, um, we really didn't, in Ohio, we did not have a lot of diversity. The kids at the middle school I worked at when I first moved here laughed because we put ketchup on our tacos. And, that's just how it was. Everybody in the neighborhood, especially when I was in elementary school, even our African American friends, like everybody just kind of had the same thought process. And it just, there was no diversity. Middle or junior high, 7th, 8th, and 9th grade, a little bit more because we had more elementary schools from different neighborhoods coming in. And then high school, there was more diversity, but not so much. When I moved out to California, that's where, I really started to see different cultures and different diverse groups coming together. And I absolutely agree. We need to, open our eyes and take off our blinders because my perspective is not everyone else's perspective. And if I don't allow students to bring their perspective into the classroom, one, it's going to be kind of boring just hearing about my ideas and thoughts and what I think is important. And you can only talk about Piper so much. And if I allow my students to bring in their cultural background and their stories and their funds of knowledge, it could really brighten up the classroom and just show or give everybody a chance to kind of learn about different styles and ways people live. I really like your resources. And the first one that you talked about is learning students' names. That's important, but most important is learning how to pronounce them. I was, again, when I was a para and I was working in the middle school, and there's a young girl, and I could never understand her name because when it was said, it was always said really fast. So I finally, and it was after I read an article, and I wish I would have kept this article. It talked about a young woman who was told to change her name because her name was a difficult name and it was unusual. But once you learned how to say it, it wasn't. You just had to take the time. But she was told, why don't you just change your name to Sharon or something? And she said, no, that's not who I am. And I really took that to heart. And I went up to this one girl and I said, hey, can we go out here? So it's a little bit quiet. We were in the gym. And I said, I really need to hear your name. I want to learn how to pronounce it because I think, I didn't even say it, but I go, it's only fair to you that when I address you, know how to say your name. And she was like, so happy that I did that for her. And I make it a point to learn the names. And I am terrible at pronouncing anything. And so that's something that I have to be aware of and I have to work on it because that's their identity. Our names are who we are. And like you said, that little boy, he came strutting in and he was so happy that the teachers finally were pronouncing his name correctly. Your next resource, the visuals and the graphic supports. When I taught preschool, and even now with the older kids, gave them construction paper and said, hey, or make a family collage. Put whatever pictures you want on here. You can have one picture or you can put 30 pictures, whatever you think you want to do. And that was a great way to bring visuals of each family into the classroom. And I still catch the kids kind of just looking at their pictures. It brings comfort. And I liked your graphic organizer. I think that's where you talked about it, to learn about each other, or that might have been a different resource. But you did talk about having a graphic organizer and having the students fill that out with questions and getting to know them. I thought that was such a good idea. Facial expressions. Luckily, right now we have masks on and maybe our facial expressions can be hidden. However, they can tell by our eyes. I always ask my students, you can tell I'm smiling, right? And they always say, because my eyes get small and my cheeks puff out. But sometimes you don't even mean to have a facial expression that's kind of negative towards a child, but they don't know that. So again, no matter what we have going on in our lives, we got to check it at the door and come in and make sure we have that smile and we have that pleasant look on our face for our students because they might not have gotten anything like that in the morning. So again, another great resource. And Just again, you talked about gathering the students' background information to use in a story structure. How much fun was it when we would hear our names? Amy was always in a story. Melissa was probably in a story just as well, but we have students now with names that aren't so common. So if we can make up these stories and put their names in it and their traditions and culture, again, it just makes them feel so much more included, and they will want to participate in the class for sure. Um, and then again, like you said, students, when we do something like that, they're going to make connections with each other. I had a friend in kindergarten to this day. I mean, it's been years. Our connection was we were both named Amy. Unfortunately, there was like 16 Amy's that I went to school with throughout my life. So if that was the only reason why I was going to be friends with somebody, so being able to have more of a connection than just a first name is such a great idea. And then connecting with families, bringing the families and having a connection with the family shows the student that, it's okay if I like my teacher, because sometimes students, especially young ones, they have a loyalty to their parents or their moms, and they're afraid to like their teachers. But if they see that the teachers and the families are coming together, it just puts peace in the student's heart that, okay, Miss Amy, Mrs. Yeagley is a safe teacher. My mom likes her, my grandma likes her, and just building that connection and that bond with the teachers, whether it's a quick phone call, emails. I like Class Dojo. That's a kind of a fun way to share information with students. And I thought too, at the beginning of the school year, just sending a quick survey home, talking like our families eat together, or, families, parents work, or just their hobbies and their activities as well. And then maybe like once COVID's over and we learn different families' activities and interests, we can start inviting family members in and being part of the classroom. But Melissa, overall, you did such a fantastic job, and you were so clear and thorough on your resources, and they're resources that maybe I didn't think, oh yeah, that is such a good resource. Having the resource written down, learn the pronunciation, that's wonderful. I think you did a great job. Thanks for sharing, and good luck with the rest of the course. Thank you.